guys are snakes, spiders, going back to prison.
Ooh, was that an ankle bracelet? Is that what that was? One of those stay-at-home monitors? Is that what that was?
That's a funny line. I didn't like that line. That's a funny line. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Golden Knights sweep the Avalanche, the Cubs' losing streak hits 10, and Reggie Miller joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Oklahoma City Thunder scoring 45 more points in Game 5 than they did in Game 4 and convincingly beating the San Antonio Spurs 127-114. So the Thunder push the Spurs now to the brink of elimination. Victor Wembanyama had his worst shooting game of the playoffs, hitting only 4 of 15 shots. After the game, Spurs coach Mitch Johnson laid this on Wembanyama, saying, quote, he's got to take more than 15 shots. Even with the 12 free throws, he's going to have to score more than 20 points for sure, unquote. Wilbon, was the key here what the Thunder did or what Wembanyama failed to do?
What the Thunder did, because that really also dictated what Wembanyama failed to do. I mean, OKC played last night like a championship was on the line, because it was. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not have an efficient night shooting. I think he was 7 for 19. But he did offensively what he needed to do. Also got his teammates involved, had a nice, either assist or, as we say, the hockey assist. And so Shai Gilgeous-Alexander understood the moment and played like an MVP. And that defense with Hartenstein in the middle of it this time. Chet had a nice first half. Hartenstein had a nice game. And that tag team did a number on Wembanyama, who looks ground down. I don't want to say tired. I want to say ground down. I want to credit OKC with being all over him. That's what you have to do with a truly great player. And they'll have to San Antonio figure it out in the next, 36 hours here, how to get him those 35 points and 22 or 24 shots, maybe even more than that. But I'm giving the credit to OKC.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I mean, I sat on the show yesterday and I said that I thought Oklahoma City was going to win. I didn't expect Wembanyama to be so ineffective, but I expect him to be much better in Game 6, and I actually think they're going to win.
Agreed.
San Antonio will win in Game 6. I mean, this is what happened. In Game 4, Oklahoma City was terrible. They scored 82 points. That's ridiculously bad. And they come back and they have a big game, and that's, Mike, you'll agree, that's what champions are supposed to do. That's the squad that they have. They held Wembanyama down. I will say, we'll register one disappointment with Wembanyama, that he ducked the media at the end of the game. You want duck the media. You want to be.
Don't do that.
You want to be the face of the league. You got to be out there, win or lose. But what they did to him, they were physical with him in their game plan. They pushed him out of the paint. They out-rebounded him by miles. Those two guys, right? The two guys in the center, Hartenstein and why am I blanking on the name? Holmgren.
And Chet.
Yeah, on Holmgren. Yeah, but and by the way, San Antonio failed to support him in any other way. If Dylan Harper has 5 points and De'Aaron Fox has 9 points, you're not going to win that game.
No.
So and the other team, when they put McCain got 20, and when they put Caruso out there, he steals the ball all the time. This is one number, and I'll get out of here. When Caruso is out there in this series, they are plus 45 Oklahoma City. When he's on the bench, they're minus 37.
If they win, if OKC wins, Caruso, as of right now, is the MVP of that series. Let's move to the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Golden Knights swept out the Avalanche last night in a series result not many saw coming. Colorado had finished first in points in the regular season, while Vegas tied for 12th. Tone, is the headline here Vegas' accomplishment or Colorado's collapse?
It's the same question that we just did. The headline here is Vegas' accomplishment. Because if you dwell on Colorado's failure, you are impugning what Las Vegas has done. I mean, come on. Colorado comes into this game, they're the number 1 seed, they win the President's Trophy. They win 55 games in a regular season, and Vegas wins 39. They score 121 points in a regular season, Vegas has 95. So if there's going to be a sweep, it's going the other way. This is why I'm supportive of what Vegas did, and I'm not just going to excoriate Colorado here. Last night, Vegas held Colorado in a period between the second and third periods, 25 minutes without a shot on goal. They limited their goal production from 4.1 on the previous 2 series to 1.75 in this. I understand some of their guys were hurt. They're great players, Makar and McKinnon. I understand that. But what Vegas did since Tortorella got there. Come on.
Yeah, Tortorella.
Since Tortorella got there, they're 19-4-1. That's why I want to give them the credit. The collapse of Colorado, it's not like they were on the side of the road and somebody stuck a pin in them. Vegas beat them.
Vegas did beat them, Tony. You mentioned Torts. So I was here in New York doing the morning shows. Shout out to Greeny and Stephen A. And I had access to Kevin Weeks and PK Subban before the series started, both those guys. And they both thought that Vegas could win this series and would win defensively, what you talked about, being able to clog the middle of the ice. But they also did think that McCarr and McKinnon, either absence or being diminished, was going to hurt Colorado a lot. And it did. You can't overlook it.
It did.
I'm not going to say it's the number one reason, but that defense that Torts threw out there and his ability to blanket Colorado, whoever was on the ice, you got to give them credit. But I wish I'd seen the series with McCarr and McKinnon healthy and able to score like they did in the previous series. Would have liked to have seen that.
I understand that. I'm just saying that and by the way, you don't want to win the President's Trophy. Because the last team that won the President's Trophy and then won the Cup is the Blackhawks in 2013.
Yeah.
You know, and Tortorella's done this before. He eliminated Tampa Bay, which won the President's Trophy in 2019, swept them when he was coaching Columbus. Torts does this. Let's move to baseball. And the team you love the most, your Chicago Cubs. At the moment, they stink. Earlier in the season, they had 2 10-game winning streaks. Last night, they lost their 10th game in a row. This one at Pittsburgh. The Cubs are now only the second team in the last 65 years to have such winning and losing streaks in the same season. The other, 2017 Dodgers. Wilbon, which is the truer version of your Cubs, the winning streaks or this losing streak?
We have no idea, Tony. And I told you on your podcast, and we spoke to it briefly on this show, but I told you on your podcast 2 weeks ago, I feared the Cubs were going to lose 15 out of 20. And you said, what are you talking about? They just won 19 out of 22. Because Tony, when you lose all your pitchers to injury, and I'm going to list a few, when you lose them all to injury like that, it's not sustainable to keep winning. And so I was terrified. I didn't even want to watch when we were winning because I knew this was coming. And if you look at the Cubs injury report, you've got on it Cade Horton and Justin Steele. Aces, both of them. Cade Horton should have been Rookie of the Year last year. You got Matthew Boyd, the best starter on the team all of last year. You got Cabrera, the guy they brought in to be, I don't know, a second or third starter this year, Porter Hodge. That's just part of it, and that's just the pitchers. We have no arms, Tone, and the hitting has gone south. Even a guy like Bregman, who you bring in and you count on, we can't do any of it. We can't get out of our own way, and I'm terrified as to what may happen over the next 10 games.
I will just say this. I will say that you're in a very tough division. Every team is above 500 in that division, the only division like that in baseball. And 5 of these 10 losses are in division of Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. And Milwaukee basically owns you. But the batting average in this 10-game losing streak with runners in scoring position is terrible. It's 9 for 73. It's a 123 batting average. So I can't help you with the Cubs. Can I mention the Nats? I know the Nats lost today. But the Nats had won 4 games in a row against division leaders on the road, 2 in Atlanta and 2 in Cleveland. The Nats have been terrible for a long time, much worse than the Cubs. The most wins they've had in the last 5 years in one season is 71. Their average season is 65 and 97. And right now they're 1 game above 500. And they haven't been that way in years and years. They have a general manager who's 36 and a manager who's 33. It's like the Children's Crusade. And they've scored more runs, Mike, than any team in baseball. And going into today's game, 304 runs. More even than the Dodgers. Anymore. No, they're fun to watch, pathetic. And it appears that their hitting coach is Babe Ruth. Let's take a break. Coming up, we will ask Reggie Miller how he explains Victor Wembanyama's performance last night.
We'll also ask him why he thinks the Knickerbockers should be favored in the finals, no matter who they play. Yeah, we got problems. You have no arms when all of your arms are in sick bay, and those are considerable pitchers. Yeah. Those guys, together with Shota,
if they come back. This happened last year to the Dodgers, and then they came back in the playoffs of the World Series. We've got NBA playoffs questions for our great friend, NBC Sports NBA analyst, Reggie Miller, now working somewhere else than we're used to, which is good. Let's start with this. You were there for the game. How do you explain Victor Wembanyama's performance last night?
Jamal and I, we talked about this all night. In games 1 and 4, those were the Wemby games, monster games. Why? Because he established himself in the paint. The guy's 7'3", 7'4". When he gets into the paint, I don't care who you are. And it's not necessarily him always scoring, but they collapse the defense, and then that's when he can find his shooters and everyone gets in. For him not to take a shot, his first shot came at 3:15 in that first quarter. That is not establishing your main guy. If they can establish him, really him establishing himself, number one in the paint, but he's got to make sure that he touches the basketball and he's aggressive early, because to me, that sets the tone for this young Spurs team.
Let's go to the tone setter for OKC for a second. Reggie, there's so much noise around SGA, and should he be getting to the foul line as much as he is? You've said to people, hey, ease up a little bit on SGA getting to the foul line. Tell us why.
Because, look, coming from a small market, I understand what people are talking about. Is there a conspiracy theories? He gets to the line too much. Look, people, you guys need to stop, because he's not out there blowing the whistle on himself, first of all. He's playing the game of basketball, and he's playing within the rules. I know people don't like to hear that. I know this goes back to Doris Burke and Free Throw Merchant and people saying he's flopping all over the place. Are there some missed calls? Absolutely. But that goes across the board for everyone. I think, and I said this on air, this is not a guy that's getting up complaining, is always in the official's face. 3 technicals all season long. 9 technicals for his whole career. So it's not like he's complaining, give me the... He's not doing that. And I just think people need to pause a little bit, and they're saying that the game is unwatchable and all. He goes to the free throw line. He went to the line last night. I believe he was 16 and 17. But if you go back through the first 4 games, 9 in game 1, 7 in game 2, 12 in game 3, and only 6 in game 4. So he was below his average before last night. And if you look at some of the fouls last night, and granted, the Spurs, they do like to play aggressive, but some of them were just ticky-tack, dumb fouls. And if you talk to Mitch Johnson, that was their problem after game 3. He admitted it. SGA put them in bad position with the up fake. They leave their feet. Those are fouls, people. So people just need to calm down on the officials. It's not SGA. SGA is doing what he does. This guy drives every single time. It's not like he was me out on the perimeter just casting threes. He's putting pressure on the defense, gentlemen.
I'm playing this clip for my son tonight. We've been fighting about this all series. Reggie, why and how has Caruso been so effective and even larger than his normal role offensively? What are you seeing there?
Talk about a guy who reads the temperature of a room. We had a chance, and we've been up and close with Alex, and he's like, look, I read the temperature of the game. Does my team need scoring? Do they need defense? Do they need a ball hawk? I read the landscape of how the starters start their ball game, and it's my job to come in and adapt. I told people this last year because I had a chance to watch all those finals games up close with my beloved Pacers in them. SGA, the finals MVP, yes, he was great. J-Dub, that 40-point masterpiece he had in Game 4, that was great. But the reason why the Thunder wanted Chip last year was Alex Caruso. He was so consistent in all 7 games. He was the disruptor. He did everything and at a timely manner for the Thunder to win. That's why he's a 2-time champion. He's one of those guys that you hate to play against, but you love having on your team. He just understands how to play the game of basketball and plays within the team structure.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit to your career. As great a player as you were, people outside of Indiana, remember you most with going against the Knicks. I was at that game where you scored, 8 or 10 points in 3 seconds. I mean, I know you and Spike Lee. I saw the choke sign. I saw all of that. Last night, you went on TV and you said that the Knicks would be favored over whichever team comes out of the West. This we like to call the anti-Wilbon position. But just tell me the truth. In your heart of hearts, don't you hate the Knicks? Don't you?
Hate is a very strong. Look, people think I love the players. I love the organization. It's the fan base at times makes me scratch my head.
Amen.
But as an organization,
Amen.
I absolutely love I love those guys, the way they play, the way they carry themselves. It's all about business. And what I meant by they won't be the betting favorite. Obviously, that would be the Spurs or the Thunder. They will be the betting favorite, either one of those teams. But the sentimental people, I think, are pulling for the Knicks because it's been a bazillion years since they've gotten to the finals.
Yes.
And all of New York is all on board. That's what I was trying to say last night. So and the way they are playing right now, 11 in a row, they are so connected at both ends of the floor. That's why I think they would be favored, not in the betting aspect of it, but in terms of winning a series because of how well they are connected. And by the way, Tony, I did see you at that game. I saw the back of your head as you were walking up, thinking the game was over. And I was like, bye, Tony.
Yeah. I don't know. Was it?
I love it.
You know, as time goes on, it becomes 15 points in 1 second. But I was there for it. Reggie, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much.
Great,
Thanks, Reggie.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. You can catch more Reggie tomorrow night on Game 6 of Thunder Spurs on NBC and Peacock. We're going to take one last break still to come. Did Abner Uribe go too far with his celebration last night?
And Novak Djokovic tries to keep it going in Paris. It's great to have Reggie. Just great.
He is in the minds of Knick fans. He's one of the top 3 or 4 players of all time. Of all time.
Yes.
Because of the back
Clutch,
and forth.
baby.
And happy time, people. Happy 29th birthday, Daniel Jones. The somewhat maligned quarterback had a complete change of direction in his career when he went to Indianapolis last season. Jones had failed with the Giants and sat on the bench in Minnesota. There was no reason to believe the former 6th overall pick out of Duke would reverse his trajectory. But Jones had an 8-5 record as a starter in Indy, completed 68% of his passes for 3,101 yards, 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions before tearing his Achilles against Jacksonville in December. The Colts had enough confidence in Jones after seeing his 7-1 start there to sign him to a 2-year, $88 million deal this past March. Jones is expected to be ready for the start of the upcoming season.
Tone, is there a Sam Darnold story awaiting us in Indianapolis with Daniel Jones? People do come back from this injury now in ways they simply did not, 20 years ago or beyond. So good luck to him. It'll be interesting to see if he can find that form he had early last season.
Happy anniversary, Lenny Randle. This is posthumous, but on this day 45 years ago, the Seattle third baseman got down on his hands and knees and attempted to blow an infield hit by Kansas City's Amos Otis into foul territory. After initially ruling it a foul ball, umpire Larry McCoy was persuaded by Royals manager Jim Fry to award Otis first base on the grounds that Randle had interfered with the ball's path. Kansas City went on to win 8-5. Randle spent 12 years in the majors, originally coming up with the old Washington Senators, then 5 years in Texas, and shorter stints with the Mets, Yankees, your Cubs, and Mariners. Randle was a lifetime .257 hitter.
Tony, don't you think that should have remained a foul ball? I love Jim Fry. He should not have been able to convince anybody of anything. It could have been a gust of wind for all we knew. Come on now.
Could have been. Great video.
Could have been.
Happy trails to Abner Uribe's sense of decorum. The Brewers reliever got Alec Burleson to the Cardinals on a called third strike to end the 8th last night and celebrated with a triple crotch chop. Awkwardness ensued as everyone then had to wait for the Cardinals' challenge to play out. The call was upheld and the Brewers won the game, but afterward, Milwaukee manager Pat Murphy said, quote, "I love the kid, but that's unacceptable. I was embarrassed by it. Why are we doing it? It's a 6-0 game. What are we doing there?" unquote. Uribe indicated that he was reacting to Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol threatening to throw at the Brewers.
Man, I mean, I was told this is a wrestling thing. Originally, that's like the original source of it. Maybe I could just go right outside the door here and ask Cody Rhodes about it. He's here in the studio in New York, Tony.
I like the way Murphy reacted. I do. I think he's right about this. Let's go to the big finish. Joe
Let's do
Mazzulla
it.
of the Celtics is the NBA Coach of the Year. Does that make sense to you?
It can make sense. I voted for J.B. Bickerstaff, but Mazzulla, the Celtics is a regular season award, people. Got to understand that. Novak Djokovic is into the third round, but second-seeded Elena Rybakina is out in Paris. Bigger deal.
The bigger deal is Djokovic. Everything he does at this age is a bigger deal. Georgia coach Kirby Smart suggested that the SEC could look at going it alone in football. Your thoughts?
That's not going to happen. The SEC and the Big Ten are having a turf war. They both need each other. At least for now, they do. Shohei is on the mound tonight against the Rockies. What do you expect?
He got hit by a pitch yesterday and had some soreness in his wrist, so I don't know how long ago. I'll say 5 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. Last one, Hurricanes, Canadiens. Game 4 tonight. Who you got?
I don't know who I have. I know who I want. I want to see the Canadians win, even this series at 2, and let's have a long, tense series. We already had a sweep on the western side. We need a long series in the East.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads.